Guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we have something incredibly cool to take a look at, and it's something that I am extremely excited about. It is a brand new sculptor that I just recently learned of, and his name is Paleokhris, and he sculpts some of the most beautiful models that I have ever seen. Not just dinosaurs, like he has all sorts of different animals that he is making as far as prehistoric creatures, but immediately one that really drew me in, really grabbed my attention was this, which is his Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you can see it is an incredible interpretation of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is a beautiful, very up-to-date interpretation, and his sculpt is honestly magnificent here in person, but you might immediately take notice to the fact that it's unpainted. Well, that's because I decided to keep it unpainted, and I didn't fill the seams or anything like that quite yet, because I wanted to show it off prior to me painting it and review it prior to me painting it. Then I'll paint it halfway through the video, and then we'll look at it when it's fully finished. I figured that would be the most fun way to do this. One thing that's also really cool is there is also a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull here, and as you can see, it fits perfectly within the head of our T-Rex, so obviously they are to scale with each other. Now, this model was actually printed out by Medium Master, and that's also really exciting because until this model, I had never heard of Medium Master. Medium Master basically runs a 3D printing business here in the United States, and not only here in the United States, but if you are familiar with dinosaurs, he's in a pretty significant spot as he is about 20 minutes outside of Dinosaur National Monument in Utah, which is pretty awesome. I'm kind of jealous of him having that residence, but regardless, he prints out different dinosaur models for many different sculptors. He also sent a little keychain here of his logo as far as Medium Master goes, which was pretty cool, very kind of him. But again, it's something that I was unaware of, so that's really exciting because I always promote different companies and different sculptors and stuff that sell their files, but they don't actually sell the 3D models and stuff. Well, now I know somewhere to send them to, which would be Medium Master, to get them printed out. And again, looking at this here, the overall print quality is phenomenal on this T-Rex. And what's really exciting is, as far as the skull goes, first of all, you can see it has an articulated jaw, but not only that, our Rex also has an articulated jaw, which works really, really nicely, so that's even more exciting. But I'm going to go ahead and jump straight to a closer look at this incredible Tyrannosaurus right now to show you how good not only Medium Master's work is, but also, of course, the incredible sculpt here by Paleokhris. So it might be a little hard to really pick up on how nice it looks because it's almost the same type of color as our backdrop there. But you can see that, again, sculpt-wise, it looks incredible. Really nice looking scale detail, especially running along the jawline here on both the upper and lower jaw. And you can see that we do have lips for this T-Rex. Once you close the mouth, the teeth are completely invisible to us. You can see the nostrils sculpted really nicely. Also some more beautiful scale detail there up in the eye socket area. Some nice creasing and wrinkling there around the eye. Incredibly nice, very fine detail outside of those areas in the face, which looks really cool. I like that he includes even some scars and stuff you can kind of see right here on the lower jaw, which is definitely an added element of realism to the figure. You've got some more really nice looking sculpt and detail up here on the top, running up from the snout up here onto the top of the head of our Rex. As you move down the course of the body, I'll continue to have my hand back here, but as you move down the course of the body, not only can you see some more phenomenal looking skin texture as far as the scale detail goes, you also have a lot of wrinkling and creasing here in the neck region. You can see it looks really good, especially as you move down here to the underside. Really nice kind of almost hanging skin here to the underside. And one thing I really like is that when you open the articulated jaw, first of all, when it's closed, this lines up very nicely. But when you open it, it still looks really good. It doesn't look out of place or anything, which is a huge plus for the articulated jaw of this Rex. You can also kind of make out almost some tensing here in the neck of the Rex. As you move down here a little further, you continue to have some gorgeous looking, really vibrant scale detail. You can also pick up on some more scars and stuff here on the side, or even potentially injuries if you want to paint them out as injuries. I guess that really just depends on your preference. More nice creasing in the skin skin as you move down the course of the spinal column. The spinal column is very nicely elaborated there on the back. And then as you look down here, you've got the really nice looking arm sculpt. And I love the fact that the arms are held so nice and naturally into the body. That looks great right there. One thing that you will be able to take notice to, of course, is the fact that there is a seam right here in the neck, and that's because this comes as a kit. It comes unassembled. You have to assemble it and then paint it and everything. Mine was just glued, and that's it. I haven't filled the seams or anything for it quite yet, so we will do that, and you'll see what it looks like once it's actually finished. But as you move back here into the stomach region, you can see some nice wrinkling and creasing because the leg's pushing into the stomach, bunching that up, and it definitely has some good girth in the stomach region here. You can see that there as I kind of obscure the backdrop with my hand. You can really see some nice girth in the stomach region of our T-Rex. Again, the spinal column continues to look nice moving down. You have some very nice muscle definition here in the thigh. Nice creasing again in the skin as you move down. Quite a bit of wrinkling and creasing there in the joint of the knee. Nice big bulging calf muscle as well. And then you move down to the foot sculpt, and the foot sculpt looks beautiful. Nice scoots running down the front of the foot down into the toes. Really nicely sculpted out nails. You can see we have dew claws present. The Rex is currently walking along. This foot is planted. This foot is lifting up off of the ground. And then as you lead up here, you can see some of the skin kind of reacting again to the movement and positioning of the leg. As you move back here, you can see we have another seam for the tail. And then as we move back a little bit further, there's another seam. And then the only other areas would be the legs right here and the knees where you would have to connect them. And I did want to also review it this way because it's not often that you get a model kit like this that the seams are so good. Like, the pieces just fit together so beautifully, you almost don't even need to do any putty work or anything like that to fill the seams, because the seams immediately are almost non-existent once you actually, put the model together. It's not, something that you see very often would be a kit fitting that nicely. But as you continue to move down the course of the tail, again, we have more really nice looking scale detail, more beautiful creasing and everything as we lead out the length of the tail. Absolutely gorgeous, very majestic curvatures to the tail as you move out. You also have some very nice detailing here for the underside. We've got a cloaca present, so it's very anatomically correct as far as that goes. And again, some more really nice skin texture scale detail running along the underside. I just feel like you really can't see how nice this is until I get some paint on it so that it kind of stops blurring in here with the backdrop, because again, they're both such light tones. But you can see the inside of the mouth also has some nice detailing in there. Beautifully sculpted out teeth. You've got a really nice tongue sculpt in there. Very nice detailing on honestly every single area. Very excited to get some paint on this to check out how nice it looks when it's actually coming to life. You can see the ear is sculpted out there. Again, you can see a slight turn in the head, ever so slightly toward the right. You can see more tensing in the neck. More really nice skin detail down in the throat. As you lead down here again, you can see the arm is in pretty much the same position as what we had seen on the initial side. A few more skin wrinkles, the skin stretching off of the stomach because the leg's trailing over here, and some more fantastic sculpting and detailing here as far as the skin texture. In the stomach, you can see a few more scars and stuff, even more really big scars back here in the thigh, so that you can again see that this dinosaur has definitely, again, been through some experiences in its life, but again, it continues to look amazing as you move down. Really nice looking calf muscle, beautiful kneecap right there in the front, really nice curvatures in the toes as the foot is leaving the ground right there. And then you lead out the length of the tail yet again. It looks beautiful over here, just like it did on the initial side. And then you also, of course, have the skull, and the skull is honestly as incredible as the Rex is. You can see it's extremely high quality and also beautifully sculpted. I'm very excited actually to get some paint on this as well, because I just have to, because it looks so good. I can't wait to actually see it again with some paint work on it. And yet again, the articulation is super smooth. And on top of that, you actually get a little stand here to hold your Rex up so that it can balance out very nicely, which is a huge plus. Definitely something that you would want to have when getting a model like this. So let's go ahead, get some paint on this beauty, and check it out from there. So here is my now fully finished and fully painted version of the Paleokhris Tyrannosaurus Rex, and I'm pretty darn happy with the result, but as per usual, that's due to the incredible artistic skill of the sculptor of the figure, Paleokhris himself, who has absolutely sculpted out, in my opinion, a masterpiece with this Tyrannosaurus Rex here. And something I did that I don't normally do is give this a bit of a flashy color scheme, because I, more often than not, kind of give my dinosaurs more naturalistic color schemes, I would say. But this one I just felt like was so beautiful it deserved something a little bit flashier than your average color scheme. And I really just wanted to show it off to you guys for a moment here with a nice closer look to show you how nice the sculpt is once there's actually some paint application added to it. And again, it looks so much nicer with paint on it, and the jaw again articulates beautifully. We've got the lips on our Rex and everything, which help to make it look very cool, very up to date as far as the T-Rex goes. And you can also just generally see that again, it is a massive monster of a T-Rex as far as the appearance, the general appearance and everything goes. So really happy with the way that it has turned out here. Again, Paleokhris is an incredible artist, and I'm so happy to actually have one of his models now in my collection. And as far as the Rex goes, again, the paint scheme is very flashy, I guess you could say, but I also kind of painted a lot of the different injuries and stuff on it, and some, like these ones here, are kind of painted to look like injuries that aren't so recent. Then you've got like scars. I kind of tried to give it some realism. And then there's some up here that you can see I've added kind of like gloss coats too. Same deal over here. So you can see they're more recent injuries. So I tried to add a little element of realism to the paint job on top of everything, again, to create one of the most fun and, again, flashiest, but I attempted to make it realistic Tyrannosaurus models that I now have in my collection. Just, again, an incredible model. And I also painted up the skull. I really didn't do much of anything to this one outside of just a few different variations of color and some dry brushing and stuff, but it looks really good as well with paint application on it. Definitely something that I'm super happy to now have in my collection is this skull as well, especially since it goes perfectly to scale with the T-Rex model itself. So let's go ahead and check out a size for this beautiful Tyrannosaurus. And I really like the stand that they give you for the Rex as well, because being clear, it's much less obvious than a lot of other stands that you would receive, like if it were a black coloration or something that would stand out more. I feel like the clear was a very good choice on the part of Paleokhris. But as far as a size goes lengthwise, you were looking at a little over 15 inches, closing in maybe on 15 and a quarter, but not quite, or around 38, maybe almost 38 and a half centimeters. And then for a height to the back of the neck, just shy of about 4.5 inches, or a little over 11 centimeters, maybe heading toward 11 and a half. And then for the skull, you're not going to have much of a size here, but we'll go ahead and get it anyway. So about 1.75 inches, or around 4.5 centimeters in length, and then height-wise, about 1.5 inches, or a little over 3 centimeters. For size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Clovisaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Paleokhris Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you can definitely see that it sports a very good, very impressive size, especially next to these figures right here. But for another comparison, and when it comes to incredible Tyrannosaurus Rex models, they don't get much more incredible than the PNSO Wilson. You can see that both figures are a very similar size. Definitely not far off when it comes to a size department, and when we move back and get a better look, you could definitely see that again, they are pretty much right there in the exact same size range. Maybe a little bit more bulkiness on the Paleokhris version. But for another comparison, we have Rebor's Kiss. Now you can definitely see that although the sculpts I would say are equally as incredible, the Rebor version is a little bit larger than our Paleokhris version here. But as far as which one would be the best, I honestly don't know that I could decide, because I like both, I think, as equally as the other. So again, very impressive to see that the Paleokhris version can stand up so nicely to one of the best Tyrannosaurus models on the market with the Rebor version. Definitely two amazing Tyrannosaur releases. And then when it comes to accurate Tyrannosaurs, I think this might be the last one that I have in my collection currently that I can say is really quite accurate, or at least as far as I can recall at this point in time. But we have the Beasts of the Mesozoic 1/35th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you can definitely see that both, again, are incredible. Both are paint jobs from me, which I'm actually really happy with both paint jobs, but two totally different styles, as the Beast of the Mesozoic Tyrannosaurus series version is obviously based on the Prehistoric Planet version of the Rex, which I feel like is a lot more, potentially what we could see on a Tyrannosaur. And then, of course, the Paleokhris one, I went a little bit brighter, a little bit more colorful, but since we really have no idea what Tyrannosaurus could look like as far as the coloration goes, either one potentially could be a fairly realistic interpretation of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. But two, again, gorgeous T-Rex figures. So if you happen to already have one of the 1/35th scale Tyrannosaurs from the Beasts of the Mesozoic, then you might have a pretty good idea of the size of the Paleokhris version here, standing next to it. So this incredible Paleokhris Tyrannosaurus Rex is extremely exciting to me, and definitely one of the best new sculptors that I have had a pleasure of adding to the long line of reviews here on my channel. And I don't know that Paleokhris is all that new of a sculptor, but to me, Paleokhris is definitely new, because until recently I had never heard of Paleokhris, and boy, am I happy that I now have, because this Rex is gorgeous. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the single best Tyrannosaurus models on the market that you will find anywhere. The sculpt is incredible, extremely highly detailed, and that's putting it mildly, with just amazing detail all around throughout the entire Rex. You could see everything that you would want to see on a Tyrannosaurus. As far as the movement goes, and everything is perfectly sculpted out and shown here on this version from Paleokhris. And I love the pose, because it's nothing incredible, nothing amazing. It's just a T-Rex walking along nice and leisurely. And you can, of course, open the jaw, because we do have an articulated jaw, so that it can kind of show off an angry side, or it can show off the more peaceful, just kind of walking along side that we have here currently for it with the mouth closed. But no matter which route you go, one thing is definitely not going to be mistaken, and that is the fact that this is a very large, big, bulky, and very intimidating looking Tyrannosaurus Rex. And here, even with the flashier color scheme that I've given it, I feel like it perfectly shows that off. No matter what color you choose, it's going to remain a very big, bulky, and very intimidating Tyrannosaurus Rex. And on top of the amazing sculpt, again, the awesome fact that we have an articulated jaw, you have a stand to hold the T-Rex up, and the skull is beautiful, absolutely as highly detailed as the T-Rex model itself, and again, is a perfect representation of the skull of this Rex in the exact size range of the Rex. So the entire thing as a whole is amazing. So if you are interested in picking this up, I will include a link in the description too, where you can do that from Medium Master. Again, on Instagram, where you can contact him, or if you do not have social media, you can contact me, and I can contact him for you to get an order placed to get this amazing Tyrannosaurus model. Or you can also contact Paleokhris, who is on Instagram, and inquire further from him about how to acquire one. And I will, of course, include a link in the description to Paleokhris on Instagram. And make sure you check him out on there, because he has an amazing amount of models, like so many different species, not even just dinosaurs, all kinds of species that he has created, including an awesome Crystal Palace Megalosaurus, which I am dying to get my hands on and review for you guys. But it's really worth checking out and following him on Instagram, so that you can check out all the other amazing models that he has available currently. So make sure you do that, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.